ready for change, change, change. It's you, it's me, building Guyana in harmony, harmony. Make the right turn now for Guyana.
Good night, Albion! Good night, Albion! Tonight I bring you greetings from Kemraj, my brother, my friend, Kemraj Ramjatan, your fellow Barbician. He is at this time, right now, in Blueberry Hill, Linden, demonstrating that while we are here, we are also there, and we are over there, and we are elsewhere, and we are all over this country. So we don't need to have everybody in one spot. We are breaking the backs of the old political system throughout this country. Not just PPP, but also the PNC and what it stood for. We are going from street to street, village to village, community to community, tongue by tongue, and we are taking this country by storm. So my question is, Albion, are you ready for change? Are you certain that you can handle change when it comes? Well, okay, let's go, let's go. Just before coming here, I was in the Maikoni River, where farmers invited us. The PPP decided to call their own meeting about 300 yards from ours. And I will tell you that we continue to have a crowd. Never before in the history of this country has the PPP faced anything like this in their lives. And I was amazed because they were sharing out fertilizer and paddy and begging people to say, oh, I mean, it's not like you, don't go over there. But people were saying, no, we have had enough. What about the roads that you did not fix? What about our flooding? What about the bandits who rape and plunder and steal from us? What about no electricity? What about no water? What about the snakes that biting? What about the corruption? It is too late to come to the people now and beg them for a chance. You have had 20 years of chances. You have had umpteen times to correct your mistakes, because we all make mistakes. But year after year, month after month, and day after day, and minute after minute, they have continued as if we don't care, as if we don't matter, as if you are nothing, and as if we are just trash, continuing to do the same things and then telling you that you have no choice but to vote them back. That is not what change is about. That is not what democracy is about. So before I go into telling you why you should vote for change, let me just address a few matters. As I'm driving here, I'm seeing a number of fancy posters that the PPP has put up with their presidential candidates. And one of them struck me. It says, Donald Ramatar, a tradition of success. And I wondered to myself, because I know Donald. I know Donald long, and I know you all know Donald too. Was he ever minister of any ministry? Did he ever hold any big position in government? What then is this tradition of success that Donald talking about? The only place I know Donald been for the last 20 years was on the Guy's Suko board. So the point I want to ask y'all, because y'all know sugar better than I know sugar, has Donald Ramatar done a good job with the sugar industry in this country? So where then is this tradition of success that he's speaking about? Because even though I'm a Barbician, I don't pretend to understand what happens in the sugar industry. But every year, I see that the prices are down. I see that the profits are down. I see that the workers have to take to the streets for their just wages. To get your annual performance incentive, you have to strike. You have to make noise. You have to make demands for what is yours. You labor, you cut, you load, and yet they find ways to tell you that when you load in that pontoon, it's not because the scale show you something else. They have no respect for you. And Donald Ramatar was the man who's been the longest serving member of the board of directors of Gaisumo. From day one to today, he remains a member of that board. And so when I see him next, I will ask him, Donald, what is your tradition of success that you are bringing to the people? Are you lying to the people, or are you being truthful to the people? I will ask him, but I will tell him that the people of Albion have given me an answer. Whether he wants to believe in the answer, or whether he wants a chance to come to you and say that he, Donald Ramotar, has taken the bandits from off your backs and protected you. Has he? He, Donald Ramotar, has ensured that GPL bill is the lowest it has ever been, and you have good lights without interruption and very low bills to pay. Is that true? He can say that I, Donald Ramotar, have put water into every home where you get with a shower pipe busting and you can get shower every night. Is that true? He, Donald Ramotar, can say that for every child graduating from high school and who wants to go on to 10 has a job waiting for them, a job that they want to work in, not a job that is pushed down their throats. Is it true that Donald Ramotar has provided thousands of jobs for you? Yes or no? So where is this tradition of success that he boasts about? So when they come, I ask you to speak to them and to ask them, what have you done for us? You know, they got a song, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for us in the 19 years, the 18 years, the 15 years, the 12 years, the 10 years, the 5 years? And what have you done for me yesterday and today? And if you've done nothing for me before, what will you be able to do for me tomorrow? And it is up to you to decide whether you want to continue things as they are or you want them changed. So Albion, I ask you tonight, are you happy with the way this country is being managed? Yes or no? Do you want to see a change in Guyana? Well then, it is my duty to tell you that the people of Maikoni River, the people of Lethem, the people of Maruka, the people of Linden, the people of Georgetown, the people of East Coast, Demerara, the people of Essequibo have said, like you have said, that they have had enough and they want a change. Are you ready for the change? Tonight, Moses, I call you brother. While they call you Judas, I call you my brother and my friend. And so when they come to you and they tell you that this man sell out, what is it that he has sold out? Is it that he doesn't like the corruption? Is it that he's not raping girl children? Is it that he's not stealing? Is it that he's not pushing his family to every position that they got? Is it that he's not running drugs with them? Is it that he's not involved in some confusion with laptops or dolphins or some other atrocity? What is it that this man has done? Nothing, except that he's had enough, like you have had enough of the corruption and of the nastiness. And so tonight I say, and we must say, we call you brother. He is our brother. He is not heavy, and we are going to carry him. He is not heavy. He's our brother. Now let me tell you about the Alliance for Change and why it is important not only that you vote against the PPP, but that you vote for change. Six years ago, Kemraj Ramjatan, myself, Sheila Holder, and countless other persons around this country and some abroad gathered together to bring a new vision and a new way to this country. And that way was one of reconciliation and healing, because we recognize that the political system that this country operates under had locked two parties and by just not the parties but the races of Guyana into a fatal fight, a fight to the death. And for 50 years these two parties have been fighting each other, and because they've been fighting each other, they have been unable to release and to turn to the people and to take care of the needs of the people. Those of you who, like me, used to fight as a little boy in school, when you're in a vice, nobody wants to surrender, remember? Somebody either got to tap as a surrender, or a teacher, somebody got to come and part you. If not, you're nobody loosen. And that is what has happened between the PPP and the PNC, now the APNU. And so the Alliance of Change was born out of a set of circumstances that said that we can no longer stand back and see our country go down into flames and see our country fall into the gutter because two people refuse to stop fighting each other. None of them wants to say surrender. None of them wants to back off. And while they are fighting, the people of Guyana continue to suffer. Many have had to leave this country because they didn't have a choice. And so the Alliance of Change is here not to destroy, but to build and to create and to breathe and to give you the realization of your dreams. And we are going to assemble and have assembled and continue to assemble the greatest political platform that this country has ever seen since the 1960s. And some will even say in the history of Guyana. And so you have on one stage, you're going to have people who once represented the PNC. You're going to have people who once represented the PPP. People who once represented the WPA. People who once represented sugar workers, the United Force, the GAP, and every other Rafi Del's part, ROAR. Every party that you could imagine has found a place of peace and prosperity and harmony under the banner of the Alliance of Change. So it is important that you understand that the war that your parents and your foreparents have been fighting for 50 years is over. The war is over. And I am declaring that Victory Day, that V-Day, is going to be the 28th of November 2011. The war is over. You need not have to take up arms and fight a person simply because of the color of their skin or the surname that they bear or the texture of their hair. We are all Guyanese alike. We are different but the same. We come in peace. We do not wish to go to war, but we will defend ourselves against the nastiness, against the weapons that they are forming against us, against all the evil things that they are saying, against Moses and against me and against all the others. Do not believe them. You are seeing, you know, the body frightened, you see the white of the eye is open big. If you look carefully, you are going to see fear. Because never before in the history of this country have we been able to assemble a force that is not just against the PPP, it is against the political order that has ridden your backs, put a saddle on your backs and ridden you for 50 years. And that political order includes members of the AAP and you, because they all were a part of it. And tonight we say and we declare, no more, no more. The war is over. Enough is enough. And so we in the Alliance of Change, we believe that a country such as ours that is so blessed with such hard-working and dedicated and patriotic people deserves better leadership. It deserves a better deal. You are entitled as citizens, as Rohan said, to land, not having to line up for it. Your qualification to be a landowner is that you are born or entitled to citizenship of this country. When you attain the age of 18, someone should meet you and say, where would you like to have your piece of land, sir or madam? Would you like it as an agricultural plot, in housing, or in an industrial site? It is your right. Not having to go and put mal around somebody's neck and beg them for a piece of land that is yours. It is not theirs. It is yours, not theirs. It is your land, not their land. Let us remember, leadership is about humility. We should be serving the people and begging you to be able to serve you. What we have now is that people have to serve these leaders as if they're little gods. You have to go to them to beg them to get your child transferred from a school to another school. You have to go and beg them for work. You have to go and beg them for a passport form. You have to go and beg them to get a driver's license renewed. You have to go and beg them for what is rightfully yours. We have to end that. It is because of racism and the evils of racism and the evils of hatred that one group has hijacked this country and another group hijacked it before, and together they have ridden us as if we were animals. The time has come to say to them that the war that you are fighting is not my war. The war that you are fighting is not our war. The war that you are fighting is your war. The war for me is over. The war for you is over. Healing and reconciliation. It is so important for us to go forward, for us to be able to fix that which was broken in the past. We cannot just go forward pretending that they were not hurts and pain committed one by the other. All of us in some way or the other has hurt somebody else in this country in the name of racism and hatred. Some of you may want to say not me, but in some way, by remaining silent, by voting along racial lines, by turning a blind eye to something that you witness, we have to acknowledge in ourselves and to ourselves that we have contributed to the hurts and the wounds that have been inflicted on this country and on ourselves. And so the time has come for all of us, from the PPP to the PNC and the UF and the WPA, standing under the banner of the Alliance of Change, holding the key of prosperity and the key to your potential in our hands. And we will open the padlocks and take off the chains of hatred. But I'm speaking about the chains of hatred and bigotry and racism and anger and hurt and pain and revenge that has kept us locked away in this country and locked from our true potential and from realizing our true worth. And so it is an honor and a privilege for me to share a platform with Moses Nagamootoo. And I'm going to try to introduce Moses in my style tonight. We, to go forward, must be able to go back and fix and then come forward again. And on one platform, you have a former senior member of the PPP standing on a platform with a senior member of the PNC. Could you imagine the symbolism and the importance and the significance of what is taking place in Albion tonight? The two people who previously wanted to harm each other and their parties were at each other now stand. And I say to him, I call you brother, Moses. We stand as brothers and sisters tonight, not against, but together and with each other. Moses Nagamootoo is the man who introduced me to politics many years ago when I was at university as a young mind, a young student. And it was Moses to whom I looked for guidance, who taught me about life and what was happening, because I must confess that I did not know of many of the things about stolen ballot boxes and the rigging of elections, about the brutality that people faced. But even in telling me about these things, Moses had a quiet dignity about him. There was no bitterness. There was no, you know, they got people who bitter, and whenever you speak to them, they try to pass their bitterness on to you. Despite all that Moses endured, he was not a bitter man. He was a man who looked ahead. He was the eternal optimist. He put his country first. He put his party above himself. And he labored for a better Guyana. And for him, that better Guyana came in 1992. And he stood there with Dr. Chedi, and he served. Not again looking for any big position for himself, not looking to build any house by the seawall, not looking for any $3 million pension package, not looking for the Mercedes and the sirens that go with it, not looking to show off and to oppress, but to serve his country through the vehicle known as the People's Progressive Party. And even though I was not in that party with him, I continue to admire him. I continue to admire the principled positions that he took. And he continued to grow in my estimation as a giant. So when they call you Judas, I call you brother. When they say you are a traitor, I say you are a patriot. I say that Moses Nagamootoo is one of the finest patriots and sons of this soil that this country has ever produced and will ever produce. And so tonight I say to Albion, may you welcome a son of the soil, Moses Nagamootoo, to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Brother Raphael Trotman, I have brought up here on the podium my wife, Sita Mary, and once again, Angela. They have all decided that they would stand on this platform because this platform, with people like Raphael Trotman, Kamraj Ramjatan, Nigel Hughes, and many, many others, it is a platform of integrity and honesty. And it is also, when one looks at the beauty of life, there is nothing more beautiful than a family. And I would like to tell you that in the Alliance for Change, I have met people who grew under me, like Raphael Trotman has said, and who have now become part of the larger family of decent people that this country badly needs to take us into the future. I know many of you have been fed on the poison and the sour soup of the soup drinkers when they try to tell Barbicians that I am a Judas, a hypocrite, a maniac, an opportunist, a traitor, a snake. They have called me all manner of names. But I tell you here tonight that the reason I have left the PPP after 50 years of my life in association with this party was precisely because the dreams and the aspirations and the vision of Dr. Jagan, our nation's father, have been betrayed by Jagdeo and the Rob Street gang. Tonight, I am going to press my heart to you, and tonight I shall let you know everything. They want it. They brought this upon themselves. And I want the nation, not only Barbicians, to know. The betrayal of Jagan started after this rigged internal elections in the party. They know that when we were selecting the presidential candidate, I asked that the party members be consulted, as is happening in every democratic country in the world, that the candidates must go to the people, talk to the people, sell their ideas to the people and their vision for a better Guyana. Jagdeo say, not under my watch. Third 15 person must recommend and 35 must select. To hell with the members, to hell with Congress. They decided since last year that they will postpone the Congress. Chetty Jagan was a man of principle and believes in democracy. That's what we fought for 28 years against the PNC, for free and fair elections. And Jagdeo decided he was going to rig the process in the party and bring rig elections within our party, within our home. He betrayed Jagan because he wanted a third term. I was opposed to the third term. Shady Jagan said to me, Moses, the first term and second term not bad, but the third term is when the thieving that's happened. But Comrade Shady, he was wrong. God bless his soul. The thieving started just after Papa Jagan closed his eyes. Jagdev said, let's discuss succession, how to select the president for the next election. He already, this lame duck, he identified Donald Duck. And they line up all the people there at the Central Committee to raise their hand. And all of them, one by one, they start to behave as if Freedom House was a duck farm. And Jagdev asked Rohi, who you want as the president? He said, quack. Gail, who you want as president? Nukta, who you want as president? Quack. And one by one, they quack, 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 quack. A bunch of quacks. So when they parade Donald the Duck today as the presidential candidate, I told them that was a piece of political quackery. There is no passion for him, no support for him, no enthusiasm for him. And Jagdev said that he don't need nobody who popular because he wanted somebody who was a proxy, a puppet, a different kind of PPP. Yes, a yes man, especially if he's a man. And so that was how the camel's back was broken when they rigged the internal process to foist a candidate without going to the members in the democratic process to ask for their views, and they reduced the members to rubber stamp. After they decided who the candidate was, they went and had 3 county conferences and said, we want you to endorse our decision. It is an insult. It is Jagdev who betrays Jagan legacy. And as I said last night on the television, that Jagdev feels that he is Jesus. And that is why he's talking now about Judas betrayed Jesus. But Judas betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. Jagdev defeated Jagan's legacy for 100,000 pieces of silver.
3 million.
That's the 3 million. Jagan would have never condoned that. That is thievery from the state treasury. That's a con job. But Judas was decent compared to Jagdev. Judas took a one-off payment of 30 pieces of silver. Jagdev is taking 3 million pieces a month. And when they were talking about 90,000 laptops, one for each family, again the talk was, buy him if it's $1 for each laptop, meaning $1 US. That's $90,000 US. But suppose it was 10 US each. That's 900,000, almost roughly $1 million US. 200 million Guyana dollar. They did not intend to put it out on tender. They were going to select their friends to produce the laptop, and they would have got the kickbacks. It was public pressure that ultimately made Jagdev advertise for this to go on a contract, to go on open bidding, and the Chinese hire were now given. But before that, the man had to donate 50,000 US to the office of the president. I'm told they said they're using it for something else. Why would a man who is bidding for a contract before he got the contract, had to pay a donation. And so the other day, the Ministry of Education had said that they were giving out contract for someone to supply computers to the ministry. And when the newspapers investigated, the man's office in New York was a barbershop. Was a barbershop. Then Jagdeo gave his friends to print the law books for Guyana. And when they investigated who are the people printing the law books, the people went under a basement in New York and they found that there was no company there. His friends. All these things that I was warning them about in the party, everything that I had, I give to my party. Every single thing. My children are here today. My daughter will remind, if she didn't want to speak because she's emotional. I used to get them to sell the mirror when they were 5 and 6 years old in Bel Air. When people were telling you, no, don't go, black people going to rape them. They used to go into Sophia and all those areas selling the mirror in the interest of the party. And then we couldn't afford to send them to school with cars. My wife had to work out an arrangement with a man who owns a horse cart to take my 2 daughters to go to the North Georgetown Secondary School. I did that for my party. My wife, sometime when she was studying a teacher's training college, now she would tell me tearfully that she hid all of this from me, that she could not go for classes because she couldn't find $100 to pay the passage to go to teacher training college and back. I made her did that for the party. And so those people who came today and tried that they're going to throw around the dirt and the filth, because we are now decided that there's a new revolution in Guyana. There's a new spring in Guyana that will change this country, will shake this country up and down and bring decency. Where were they? Where were they? I was offered $6,000 for a job in Madrid, Spain. And I refused it in the interest of the party, in the interest of the government. Where in the world do you have someone appointed a minister of government? After 1 year, I went to Dr. Jagan. I said, this is the key to my car, the minister's car. I am going back to school. I have made the revolution. There is change in Guyana. I give you 1 year of contribution as minister. I will work free for you, Dr. Jagan, but I'm going back to complete my law degree. I hand him over the key. I asked for no benefit. I asked for no rewards. And the next day I was in the road, stopping minivan, going to the university. One day I didn't have money in my pocket. At 10 o'clock in the night, I'm walking on the railway line to come back to my house. Where was Jagdeo when all these sacrifices were being made? And as soon as I got my LLB degree, I didn't get a certificate as yet. Dr. Jagan met me and I said, I want you back in the government. I want you to be the Minister of Local Government because you know how to deal with the grassroots people. You understand people. Because I live among people, work among people. I learn from them, I eat from them, I sleep with them. That was a life of a revolutionary to which we are all committed. A life of honesty and total commitment. We didn't know ourselves and personal interests. I couldn't be corrupted. When I was a minister, I went to Jagdeo and asked him for money to buy a 4-wheel Jeep, a pathfinder for my ministry. He turned and said, Mawarang, you stupid awa. Me will give you a loan for $15 million. A personal loan. And you can buy a Prado. And you can take the Prado, you'll get it for $7.5 million. You can save the other $7.5. He said, ask Sri Chan, one of my friends in the ministry, as a minister. I told him, your head mad or what? I must have used a couple F&Fs. I want a vehicle for my ministry. I don't want a vehicle personally to buy it at duty free and take it home and cover it with cheddar. Like some ministers doing, they have 3-4 vehicles in their backyard. And they're using the ministry vehicle, and the ministry chauffeur, and the ministry gasoline. So my friends, this is a guy who can't tell you about corruption and name Nagamootoo. They call me all kind of things, all kind of names, Judas and all of that. But you never hear they say the man corrupt, that the man thief. That is what politicians get knocked off for. And I want to tell that Maha Judas, that come November 28th, he will be crucified. Now, right now, it is a silly season. Jagdev become Christmas father. Last year he didn't want to give the sugar workers 5%. Quickly this year he said 3 more %. So they're going to get 8% now. But when you deal with 8%, 3% more, it works out to $30 a day, $900 a month, $30 a day. Can't buy you a bottle of water. Can't buy you a bottle of Marby. Can buy you 4 or 5 sweetie. So he's insulting you. He's adding insult upon injury. When he gives you that, our workers demand and deserve 20% increase as of now. With so much money around, they couldn't say that they didn't have money to treat our workers better. They're boasting about development in Guyana. Jagdeo was boasting how much we have. Yes, we have more houses. Yes, we have big houses, big buildings. We have a new bridge. But if you want to spend the money, we have $700 million US in the reserve. They should take some of that reserve and subsidize the people running the bridge. And they should allow the price of vehicles to go down so our children can cross to come to school from West Demerara. And they can go down to university using the bridge. Why should we pay $2,200 for a vehicle, $2,000 and more, and $500, $2,500 for a bridge that we say is our bridge? Sisters and brothers, I have come home to the AFC, the Alliance for Change. My duty is done to the PPP. I have done all I could to save that party because I love its supporters. I see great risk for them. I see great danger for them if we do not have political leadership that has experience and wisdom. Not this kind of them watching we and this anti-man behavior in public. That is not leadership. Not leadership. Where people are hunted out. Some people right here told me they didn't want to come here to be seen, but they could give me money for the campaign because they're afraid they got some people here with cell phones. They're recording the speeches. They're watching around and taking out photographs, and they're calling Jagdeo and telling Jagdeo what is going on and who is here. Jagdeo run a government that is called a Pusur government. Them say, he say, she say. Pusur government. We have to bring that to an end. This vulgarity of trying to run a government on the basis of recrimination and discrimination. Look at what they're doing. They hug up the television station. They hug up the newspaper. No opposition party can be given fair or equitable time on the state media. Every minute you have a PPP ad. If that is enough, they put more propaganda on you and said this is a message from Gina about the progress they're making. It used to be in the days of Burnham, where you used to read every day bumper rice crop, and you never see the rice. Only the Chronicle producing the rice, 200,000 ton rice, but there was no rice for the people even, much less to export. And Mutton Jeff is on television every night. Mutton Jeff, like 2 cartoon characters, telling the people, feeding them. But we know how to deal with the Mutton Jeffs. When the Integrity Commission will start inquire how people got their assets, what they got, and how their family got, then we will know the Mutton Jeff story will no longer be a cartoon story. It will be a serious story that may carry jail. And today we saw, when I was coming yesterday, I saw a big poster. Every day you pass the cultural center, you're seeing posters advertising the next play, the next comedy. I see one with Big Ramotar and Sam Hines. It says, them two, Ram and Sham. Ram and Sham. Sham been there for 19 years as Prime Minister. Sham begging them to go away. But because I tell you what, when they said Robes and Ben should repeal Sam, Roti said, no, you're looking for a black man, it's me. Before he was vexed with me, I had told him in joke one day, I said, boy, I don't know if the glass is half full or half empty. Sometime when you with me, you said, we the Indians of Guyana. Now suddenly I see you changing, and you shave up your hair, and bring it down, rail down. And you qualify to be Prime Minister, because if the President is an Indian, you can't have an Indian Prime Minister. So suddenly he won't be Prime Minister. Then Jagdev said he wanted a woman, wanted Caroline Rodriguez, or wanted Westford, and Gail Teixeira stepped forward and said, if you want a woman, it's me. And so they got problem, and Jagdev, to prevent the fighting, after they know that Navin was out, Indra was out, I was out, Komal Chan and Ram Karan, that we were not active partners in the government and the party anymore, they decided to compromise, and they said they must bring back Sam. Sam, my good friend, my brother of the Civic. He's a good man.
Very good man.
I cannot fault him for the tragedy that has befallen him by having to work with Jagdev. That was a tragedy. Jagan was his hero, and he had the greatest satisfaction working with someone who had been a lodestar of morality, a lodestar of justice. But he had now seen that he is cast in the audience tables, and it will take years to wash the slime out. But the two of them, as a team, they have no new image. The people have no passion for two old people. I may be old, they say. I mean, I am older than Donald, but look how I look. Look how I look. I am 64. And you hear the girls them singing the other day, calling the girls them up the stage to dance with he. And one of the girls said they've been backballing, that I don't want to dance with a big belly man. You heard that song? So my friends, I have come home, and this home of the ASC, why I did that was that for many years I know Kamraj Ramjatan in the party. I was the only one who stood up for him. He was the head of the youth movement of the party. He came from 47 quarantine, and he was in the central committee, and they unjustly threw him out. I was the only one who stood up for him. They got like a kangaroo court and tried the man behind his back, because he knew things that they didn't want the people to know. A lot of things. And so I knew he's a brilliant lawyer. It happened that after I became a lawyer, I started to work with Kamraj for a while. And he was always telling me to join him in the AFC. And I told him my loyalty was in the PPP, that it was my father's home. And I was still hoping that there would be reconciliation and that we could investigate all the problems we have. When I celebrated my 60th birthday, Jagdev was there, Mr. Jagan was there, Ramatar was there, Sam Hines was there, and they all said what a great person Nagamootoo was. What a great man he was. How lucky we were to have him here in the party. And today this man is dirt. Today, because I don't intend to go along with the Bacchanal. I don't intend to go on with the jamboree show of crookery and thievery. I became a bad man. They will learn that the people of this country will pass a verdict on November 28th of this year. And that verdict will be for a turn, the right turn, to make a change in Guyana, for the AFC to make a difference. My brothers and sisters, apart from knowing Ramjatan, as Raphael has said, I knew him since he was a little boy at the university, brilliant little boy, good pedigree. His father was a one-time judge, mother, a brilliant lawyer, sister, one time or still is Attorney General of Grenada. He came from good pedigree. He is a thoroughbred. He has ran many races. When I was in the parliament and I was sitting in the government benches, he was in the opposition. And in one of the debates I said, everyone should be in this house like Raphael Trotman. That Raphael Trotman was a patriot who put his country before party. I observed him. I observe his demeanor. I observe his brilliance. I observe his decorum. And we never became enemies or reparted friendship, as he said, although we were in different political side. We traveled together to Ireland in 1998, I believe, and we saw the peace process in Ireland, how the war came to an end in Ireland, why the people were allowed, the Sinn Féins, to take part in the government. We share the experience of a fractured society where people were divided according to their religion, some Catholic and some Protestants, and they were warring and killing each other for many years, and there was no solution to the problem of Ireland. And so we wanted, when we met there, to bring the same thing to Guyana, that the races of this country should stop the war, we should unite, and we should move forward as one nation. And today I'm proud that Trotman has stood up in his own party against the PNC and called on them to apologize for rigged elections in Guyana. He had the decency to stand up and say that. And he has now carved for himself an image of someone who is fair because he knew rigged elections. While it was good to keep the PNC in power, it had alienated Indians, marginalized Indians, and turned this country into a wasteland where everyone was living and hoping for a visa. And I stood up in my party and I said that we have won elections 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times again. Why don't we bring on the agenda a formula to unite our people? And I call that formula a government of national unity, where winner must not take all, that the parties going into the government must be calling to form the government at the end of the elections in proportion to the number of votes they receive, because the system we have is a system of proportional representation, and if you bring all the parties into the government, there will be no insecurity among the races of Guyana. I told them that Indian prosperity, Indians are hard-working people, they're business people, they're entrepreneurs, they like to save. Their women like to wear jewelry. They can't wear them anymore in Guyana. You can't wear a tilari, you can't wear jingles anymore that is made of gold, you wear fake on the public. I told them that there can be no guarantee of prosperity for Indians unless African security is addressed. This insecurity of joblessness, of being out on the sideline of governance, not being able to decide how contracts and scholarships on land are distributed, not being able to have a say, and using the parliament as a rubber stamp in the same way they use the media to dominate and control everybody else, and you have no dissenting opinion and no other opinion. We become a nation of sheep, we become a nation of jackasses. That is what Jagdeo has bequeathed to us. And by giving us 5 more years of Jagdeoism under Ramotar is a shame that should not be tolerated by the people of this country for 1 day. In order for the AFC, it's not only the Alliance for Change, it is the agent for change to play a role. We must get sizable vote. We must be able to be the agent that will bring the parties together, the PNC and the PPP and all other parties, bring them to the table. Let us have a round table discussion and bring about unity and how to move forward this country. Only we can do that because we have that as one of Jagan's dream, to bring national unity, to bring racial unity, cultural unity in this country. My brothers and friends, I am proud that I have made a choice. My wife has never ever stood on a platform. For 33 years she taught and was headmistress of a high school. Then she was a lecturer at the university training college, teacher training college. She never, although I was a politician and she was a member of the party for 35 years, she resigned before me very quietly. Couldn't stand it anymore. And so last night was the first time ever my wife stood on a platform, and she decided that she will speak and that she will talk her mind. And she said that if anything we need to do, we must give our life now to the future, to our young people. 46% of our people are between 18 and 35 years of age. We don't need an old generation to lead us. We don't need these people who can't keep awake in Parliament, they sleep all the time, to sit on the throne of power. We don't need people who look after their belly more than they look after their brains and their vision. We don't look at people who want to, only reason to be president is that they will get the pension of $3 million a month for life. That is what they're doing now. Sam is running to defend Jagdeo. That the pension is not all of that. It is less than 3 million, but can't say how much less than 3 million it is, because Sam acted as president. He was president, and he knows he is qualified to receive the 3 million also, like Jagabat. So you have 3 for Sam, 3 for Jagabat, then soon you're going to have 3 for Ramotar. And so the duck farm will become a very rich farm. Even when the farm is retired, they will continue to quack, quack, quack. And you will continue to eat kudi in Guyana. So that the Alliance for Change, my friend, brings to you an opportunity once again, as Dr. Jagan has said, in the 1950s, that we must go back when we had the first national movement, when he and Burnham stood together. Look at these men's faces here, and you will see that we have an opportunity to re-enter and to rewrite history. We can recreate history the way we want it this time around, because we have young leaders with ideas and vision and the plan that can take this country forward. I want to tell you this, that I am here not because I am in competition for any position. I'm here to vest myself and to hand over the baton of struggle to a new generation of fighters like Trotman and Ramjatan and Nigel Hughes and others who have come in this party, a young party with vision. And I know they will do good for Guyana. You must now cast off the chains you have, some of which I forged for you, to ask you in these very spots to vote for the PPPC. Our father is gone. He has left a vision. So that don't worry with these people who come to you now and tell you about Jagan legacy and how they want to protect. This election is not about Shadi Jagan. This election is not about Moses Nagamootoo. They're spending all their resources against Moses Nagamootoo because they want to divert your attention on the real issues. The real issues got to do the things like pension, poverty, pensioners' rights in Guyana, protection for women, security for our people, cutting VAT to 12%, giving workers 20% wage increases, discussing a plan for our young people, how they can be employed to create jobs and more jobs, to make sure that our children have a secure future. These are the issues in this election, and the issue is not Moses Nagamootoo. So they're trying to use me as a scapegoat. They're trying to use me as a diversion, because they know people catch up to the Rob Street gang, and people are looking to pull the pants down of Jagdeo, shake him up dry, because he was trying to rob the treasury. So that, my friends, make the change like me. Make the change, because on election day you have only your God and your conscience to guide you. You can break yourself free from the shackles of the past, and you could invest in the future. You could choose the key to open up the future to a progress to open up a brand new future for Guyana. If we have a say in the government, even if we didn't win outright, which we think we will, if we have a say on how the government is formed, we will be an important player, but we cannot be unless you give us each vote that is cast in the election. I plead to you, my brothers and sisters, on election day, I want you to vote twice. The national elections, you make an X beside the key, and on the regional ballot, you make an X by the key, because you want to get rid of Mutt and Jeff. We want to put people of decency, people of integrity in the region, and so we want you to vote for the AFC, for the regional seats, so that we can run this region and we can show Barbician real progress for the first time that is going to bring changes to your life. And so I leave here tonight wishing all my Muslim brothers and sisters a happy Eid al-Adha. I wish you peace. I wish you happiness. I thank you for your sacrifice, and I want you to make your sacrifice meaningful. You have a mandate now, the blessings of Allah. You have the mandate of sacrifice to go one stage further, a few days ahead, and let us try to bring a government in this country that we all will be proud of. And it is a government in which the AFC plays the major role. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you for coming out to listen to me.
Good job. Let's hear it from Moses Nagamootoo. Barbie's own Moses Nagamootoo. We want to say special thanks to all of you for coming out today on your own